Welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm your host, Chief David Malloy, Director of Public Safety for the City of Novi. And I'm very proud to have our newest employee here in the City of Novi, Mr. Marshall Johnson. Marshall, welcome to Behind the Badge.
Thanks, Chief. I appreciate it.
Why don't you tell the viewing audience a little bit about your wide variety of background and experience and what brought you here to Novi?
Well, I've been in law enforcement, at least related to a law enforcement profession, for almost 30 years, over 30 years. Did a 25-year stint with the Michigan State Police, retired from the department in 2002. And from there I went to various jobs, and I also worked as a risk manager for a very large consulting company, did numerous projects for them, taught at various high schools, not high schools, but universities and colleges in Michigan. And basically after retiring, decided to get back into the work field and try Novi as an opportunity, and it's worked out real well for me.
And I know your last several years with the state police, you were involved in the Emergency Management and Homeland Security Division. Can you tell the audience a little bit about that?
Yeah, that career was pretty, that assignment was really good for me. For over 10 years, I was basically the state training officer for the department. I was chiefly responsible for being like the liaison for the governor's office. And in that role, I worked very closely with local officials to prepare them for disasters and emergencies. Whether we're dealing with a weather emergency or a technological emergency like a hazmat incident, something like that. So I developed very close rapport with various city officials throughout Michigan, as well as law enforcement officials and fire officials. So.
Excellent, excellent. And how about your education?
Well, I'm a product of the Detroit Public School System, graduated from high school many, many years ago, completed my undergrad at Wayne State University, went on from there and got my master's degree from Eastern Michigan. I've also attended numerous specialized training programs and other leadership and management programs as well. So.
Excellent, excellent. And as our emergency management coordinator, tell the viewing audience, what is it that you do on a daily basis to keep Novi safe?
Well, my job is probably one that is very, that's not seen very much. A lot of the work is done behind the scenes. My chief responsibility is to make sure that city government within the city of Novi is ready to respond to any type of emergency. I like to use the concept of all hazards. And what I mean by that, regardless of what type of incident we're dealing with, if it elevates to a level where we have to mobilize local resources, then my job is to help coordinate all that. You don't see this up front a lot of times. A lot of the efforts are behind the scenes in terms of training, in terms of planning and preparedness. We also work very closely with the citizens. We have a citizens program called Community Emergency Response Teams, which is CERT. And those folks work very hard to make sure, and they donate their time. And they work very hard to make sure that they can contribute to the city as well. So.
Excellent. And I know we have a CERT training class coming up here in a month or so. I know the viewers can hit the website and take a look, but yep. What would they expect?
Well, the CERT program is very professionally laid out for them. There's at least 5, 6, or 7 modules that they have to take. The training is delivered in a professional manner. They are given all the background information, how to respond to, say, a mass casualty event. Now, keep in mind the CERT program is a supplemental effort to the city government. We do expect the law enforcement officials and fire officials to obviously do their jobs. But at a certain point in time, if those individuals or organizations are overwhelmed, then the CERT organization can step up as a backup to assist them in certain areas.
And I think I'm very proud of the program, and I know you're going to take it to new levels, but I think we're hovering somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 community emergency response team CERT volunteers.
Well, absolutely. Now, of the 200 some people we have engaged, now obviously many of them are not actively engaged every time we have an emergency, right. But many of those individuals do step up and provide their individual hours and time to help us out. So.
In fact, many, I think, recently have come to you and say, we want to be more engaged. What else can we help with in our community?
Well, absolutely. As a matter of fact, one of the new initiatives we're trying to launch, and I'm very proud of it, is that we're going to train at least 26 or maybe 27 individuals who are part of the CERT program as ham amateur radio operators. Now that is something totally new. Now, what will that do? That'll give us additional communication capabilities in the event that our main system goes down. Now we can back up our communication system with ham operators.
That's excellent, excellent. Just another layer of that protection.
Absolutely.
I know you've been recently very busy out in the community with a lot of our business community members, helping them with some of their planning, doing tabletop exercises. What advice would you have for business leaders in terms of preparedness? Because it's not like 20, 25 years ago where they didn't have these plans, but it's absolutely critical for their continuity of operations.
Well, absolutely. Business continuity is something that any business has to be aware of. For instance, I just recently did a presentation for a company here in Novi just the other day. And as a result of that training, their eyes were opened up that they are far behind in planning. They need to do some additional training, and I talked to them about drills. So it's just, again, it's another layer that they can be prepared. Insurance is there for them if they have to, but obviously they want to be prepared for unexpected events if one was to happen, and that's one way of doing it.
Excellent. And I know later this year we'll have another disaster, probably an active shooter type exercise with 12 Oaks Mall, the Taubman Corporation. Been a great partner in this community for 40 years, and we're already starting. We're probably 2 or 3 months out on that, but you're already starting to get that in motion.
Well, that takes a lot of time and effort to prepare for that, because what we're talking about is responding to a mock disaster involving all of the Novi's resources, and it's challenging at times to pull all those resources together into a room, make sure we have a thorough plan laid out. But we've done it in the past. I expect this to work out just as well. And there's a series of planning meetings we have to complete in terms of making sure all the logistical support is in place to make sure that's a successful effort for us.
Excellent. And to the residential community members that we have, what's the best advice we can give them in terms of making sure that they're prepared at home?
Well, this is a concept that's been around for a number of years. Obviously, making sure that they have enough disaster supplies that last them at least 72 hours. That's the norm that most people like to prepare for. Now, obviously, in communities like Novi, where resources are at a plenty, we can reach out and find things. A lot of communities don't have those types of resources. But we expect every family to be prepared for a disaster and be able to maintain their living standards at least 72 hours.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, Marshall, I'm really proud to have you on our team. You're a recognized leader, and whether you know it or not, you've been a mentor of mine over the years, and I've known you probably going on 17 years now, and I followed your career, and I am extremely proud to have you on our team, and Novi is better off with you leading our emergency preparedness efforts. So thank you for everything you do.
Well, thank you, Chief. I appreciate it.
And to you, the viewing audience, continue to tune in to Behind the Badge, and until next time, continue to watch Novi Television.